Hi everyone, my name is ANISSA Moore, and I'm an educational consultant and a board-certified behavior analyst. I work with lots and lots of school districts and lots of families, and right now we are all going through such a crazy time with this pandemic. If you're a parent that has a young child or maybe a child with special needs, or if you're an educator or an administrator that's getting ready to go back into the field and trying your best to get ready for our students to return to school, then this video is for you. Now, if you live in a part of the country that's like mine, where we are not quite ready to go back to school in person yet, we're going to be doing some distance learning and things like that. This is still a time, and parents, I hope you're listening to this. This is a time that we need to start teaching our kids to be really comfortable with wearing a face mask. So a lot of this video is going to be about introducing the mask if you haven't already. Maybe you've been a little reluctant to do that, or maybe just for safety reasons you haven't been venturing out of the house that much, and that's okay. But the earlier that we start to introduce this to our kids and to start getting them comfortable with wearing a face mask and kind of taking that scary kind of foreign feeling out of the mix, then your kids are going to be more successful. They're going to feel more confident when they do return to school in person. And then also, your teachers are really going to thank you for it. We're going to be able to focus more on learning and getting back to learning and knowledge and education and being together, instead of having to go over and over and over how to teach wearing a mask, how to keep the mask on, how to not play with the mask, how to not put your mask on your head or over your eyes, and all those things that, you know, if you're an educator, and I'm a certified teacher and administrator as well, we have these things in our mind that we keep envisioning is going to happen when we come back to school, and we're probably not too far off base. So I'm going to come at you with about 7 basic steps to get us going on the track to back to school. Okay, step 1. If you're a parent or you're an educator, it doesn't matter. Try to find out your school district or your campus's mask wearing guidelines. Find out what activities that your students or your child are going to be expected to be wearing the mask, maybe how long during the day, and then also what are some activities that maybe your child is going to be allowed to take off the mask. For example, if there's recess or if there's other certain activities in the gym that they may be allowed to take off the mask. So as soon as you can find out the guidelines for your school or for your school district or agency where your child attends, then we can start to plan how to introduce the mask and how to teach when to wear it and when it might be okay to take it off. Okay, step 2, talk about the mask. You know, your kids are seeing people wearing masks all over the place. They're seeing it on TV. If y'all have ventured out, they're seeing people wearing the mask. Hopefully they're wearing one as well. But talk about it. Kids have questions. Kids have really good questions. Okay, so we need to greet those questions with some good answers. So be prepared to talk about the mask and how it protects us, why do we have certain rules, and talk about the difference between following the rules and not following the rules. Okay, talk about how this is an expectation right now, but it's to keep kids safe and to keep them safe. Also, to kind of encourage them a little bit more, try to incorporate maybe some favorite characters or some social stories or social narratives. You might have heard that term if you're a parent of a child with special needs, and pull out some of those stories and activities, because they can really, really help answer some of those questions that your kiddo may have. The other thing that I like to do is when a student is really involved in a particular character or a TV show or somebody that they really look up to, I try to use that character or that person on the TV or the movie to teach that new skill. So for example, I was going through the internet and I found some different pictures that might be reassuring for a kiddo. So say you have a kiddo that is totally into Disney World and Mickey Mouse and all that stuff. You know, if you go on Google Images okay, and you look up things like Mickey Mouse mask, you're going to find things like this, okay? And I'm going to talk about this box here in a little bit because this is a big key. Teachers, I want you to hear this. This is a big key. You're going to be learning about this box in a little bit. But show different pictures of reassuring, familiar characters, familiar faces. This is one that I found also. This is from Minecraft, and this is a Minecraft character wearing a mask, okay? It's like good peer pressure. For older students, okay, try to make it age appropriate. For older students, you might have an older student and they might have special needs and they're trying to figure out, why do I have to do this? Try to pick, again, characters that they really look up to. It could be celebrities. I found one that is Taylor Swift wearing her mask. She's rocking it. So use some of those strategies to talk about the reasons for the mask, why there might be guidelines at your child's school for wearing the mask, and just kind of make it more common. Okay, step 3, get your child involved in the process. If they have a vested interest in the type of material for the mask, maybe a certain character or something really cool that they like, again, different textures that they respond better to, especially when you're looking at things like homemade masks, then they're going to be more encouraged to wear it. If it's comfortable for them, if it's something they maybe picked out and they think is cool, whether it's a color, whether it's a texture or material, or whether, again, it's a certain character. So this is actually my daughter's, and she's got a DC one. So this is fun for her. She has a good time with it. It's washable and it's a homemade mask. So I'm not asking you to go out and purchase a lot of expensive things, but try to look at things like homemade masks, gear up your neighbors or some of your close friends to kind of help you in this journey. But when kids are more invested and they have a voice in what they're getting to choose to wear, then it can really help encourage compliance with the mask wearing. Step 4, parents, model this for your kids now. Practice picking different parts of the day, throughout the day, to have your child wear their mask so that they get more and more comfortable with it. And pretty soon, the more they wear the mask, the more they're going to start to forget that they're wearing it if they're engaged in something at the times that they're wearing it. Okay? So think about special times throughout the day that your child is really engaged in something. It could be a video game, it could be a favorite movie, or it could be something that's just really reinforcing, maybe cooking cookies with you in the kitchen or something, and teach them to wear the mask during that designated time. And you tell them you're going to wear it from this time to this time, so it has a clear-cut start and finish. Then when they're done with that activity, say the end of the movie, or when the timer goes off for the cookies that are in the oven, they take the mask off and they put it away for just a little bit. So you're going to slowly introduce it a little bit at a time all throughout the day. That way you're getting them more comfortable with wearing it and it's more familiar to them. Make it fun. Choose an incentive. The other thing that I can offer is as you start to take your child out into the community, or maybe you've already been doing this, having them wear the mask, and if they're really, really reluctant to keep the mask on, or if they're really fighting you on it, try to use incentives and reinforcement, okay? The power of positive reinforcement is huge, okay? If you reinforce it, the behavior will stick. Okay, so think about a journey that you might take to the grocery store and your child goes with you and you say, okay, here's our list. We're going to get these 10 items, and when we're finished, you wear your mask through the whole time, and when we're finished, I'll let you get to pick like one bag of chips when we check out. As soon as we get in the car, mask goes off and you may have your chips. Okay, could be something as simple as just going to the dollar store and we're going to get 3 items. You wear your mask the whole time, then you get to pick one special thing because you wore your mask. Make sure to use that label and that vocabulary. You wore your mask, so you earned blank. Okay, then as your child starts to fight you less and less on it and mask wearing becomes more of a habit and not an activity that you have to reinforce all the time, then you can start to fade those rewards and it just becomes a habit. Step 5, teachers, educators, parents, administrators, therapists, everyone. I hope you're listening because this is my absolute favorite thing that I want to offer you. I call it the mask it basket. Okay, so what you do, especially, you can establish this at home or you can establish this in the classroom. I encourage both. Parents, go ahead and introduce this concept at home, and then teachers, as y'all go back to school, this is something you can introduce at school, okay? But this is the mask it basket. Ta-da! I just got a very simple basket. Okay, you can use something like this that's kind of open-ended, super cheap, or you can just get an old Tupperware, something like this. Okay, ta-da! This is ANISSA's mask it basket. And what this does, it serves several purposes actually. First of all, you're teaching a child some ownership to keeping up with the mask and putting it in a designated spot, in a safe designated spot, so that they start to take ownership and accountability of their mask. They're keeping up with it. Now, a lot of times in a classroom, they might just simply remove their mask and keep it around their neck or something like that. But if they're actually going to take it off for whatever, if they want to take it off for a mealtime or again outside or something like that, or if you're concerned about it being around a student's neck, especially with some of our little guys, this works great for early childhood, y'all. Put it in a mask it basket. What I like to do is show a child this, put their picture on it, maybe a picture of them wearing their mask. You can also, again, use some of these favorite characters, have them decorate the basket. They can put different favorite things on here. Okay, but all they're going to do is when you tell the child it's okay for them to take off their mask, tell them to put it in their mask it basket. Okay, and you can have one with a lid. I kind of like these because it kind of keeps things away from other masks. But also this is going to teach a student how to keep up with their materials just like they do in their classroom when they keep up with their personal materials like their crayons and their scissors and their pencils and things like that. The mask simply becomes another school item that they keep track of. And again, pretty soon it's just going to become the norm, and it's going to get less and less weird for them and just more natural and habitual for them. So create a mask it basket for the little guys, put their pictures on them, have their pose, put their different characters on them if you want. You can decorate it, definitely label it with their name. And again, for the little guys, I like putting their pictures, and it teaches them where they can put their mask. Have the mask it basket either right next to them at their desk or right inside their desk if they have a little area right inside of their desk, or just someplace where they keep their other materials. Okay, make it real normal and natural for them where they would keep the rest of their materials. So that's the mask it basket. All right, guys, tip number 6. This is great for educators. As your students are starting to get back into the classroom, okay, you're going to want to do a lot of direct instruction and talking, and you're going to be constantly monitoring things as well. And I know how incredibly busy you are going to be. So a very simple strategy that might be helpful to keep reminding students that they need to have their mask on without you having to stop your instruction and constantly give verbal reminders is the power of the picture. What I'm recommending is something like a lanyard, which so many of y'all wear lanyards anyway in your classroom. Have a lanyard and maybe put on the cover a picture of a mask wearer, okay? Then for times that it's okay for a child to take off their mask, okay, you can flip it over, and on the other side, you simply have a picture of someone not wearing the mask. So as you're up there teaching, you have this up, everybody should be wearing their mask. As you're walking around and instructing, if someone doesn't have their mask on, simply point to the visual, okay? This won't break your instruction in your talking to them. And also it's just a real kind reminder to put their mask back on. It's a quick visual and it doesn't break your direct instruction. Or again, you can flip it over and show them mask on or mask off. Okay, for younger kiddos, I found this little visual too that can fit inside. Okay, this is a picture of just a lot of little kiddos with their masks on, and then again you could flip it over and this is masks off, and for example like they're outside at the playground. Okay, so very, very simple little thing, quick little visual that you can do to help teach mask wearing when it's okay and when it's okay to take your mask off. Okay guys, last step, step number 7. When you have students back into the classroom, they're going to be less interested in touching their face and touching their mask if their hands are engaged, okay? So the more you can keep their hands engaged with hands-on learning, project-based learning, any kind of manipulatives that you can find with your lessons, then again, they're going to keep their hands off their face and off their mask and off other people's faces and touching other people, and they're going to keep their hands more engaged on lessons and instruction, okay? If you are doing some direct instruction and you can't seem to find a certain type of manipulative that might work, try to incorporate things like magnetic letters. This is great for our little guys. Magnetic letters or numbers, dry erase boards with a marker that they can take some notes on, or, you know, doing some things like that that keeps both hands engaged at the same time. If you've got a student with a lot of sensory issues and they tend to poke at different things and pull at different things, try doing things like a koosh ball or something that really gives them a different type of sensory input, keeps those hands engaged, okay? For some of my older students, if they're fidgeters, we see this a lot, like with my ADHD kiddos that I work with and my kiddos on the spectrum. If they need to kind of fidget and move and they have some of that energy that they need to expel, one of the easiest things you can do is have like some of these awareness bracelets that you can get super, super cheap. We can teach kids to wear these, and then when they need to fidget, they just take it off and they just kind of manipulate it and play with it. I like these a lot better because rubber bands tend to go flying. They can hurt others. These are pretty soft and they don't have a whole lot of give, but they give a little bit of resistance. Girls, same thing. If you've got some girls that are really into jewelry, pick something that might have some beads or some different things and just teach them how to fidget. Teach them that it's okay to keep their hands busy while they're learning and while they're gaining that instruction. And the more you keep their hands busy, again, the less you're going to keep their hands on their face or on their mask. This is also great for older kids, just having a couple of paper clips that they have together that they just fidget with. Okay, so try to keep those hands busy, keep those hands engaged to really encourage that mask wearing compliance. I hope this video has helped. I hope that I've come at you today with just a few strategies that might help with this journey back to school. Whether you are a parent or whether you are an educator, I want to thank you all for everything that you do for these kids each and every day. I know this is a challenging time. I know that our kids want to be back in the classroom and our teachers want our kids back in the classroom, and we're just trying to navigate the safetyness of everything right now as our leaders try to work through all of this. But I thank you for what you do. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please feel free to share it with others because we are all in this together. Thanks.